The Chelsea football fans, this is Up Chelsea TV, and I'm Uga Madi. So let's dive straight into it. Now, according to recent reports, Chelsea have been linked to Aston Villa forward Morgan Rogers, and as well as Eberechi Eze. The thing about Eberechi Eze is that Arsenal haven't been really forthright, or they haven't really been quick about getting the deal done for Eberechi Eze. So Chelsea have sort of had exploratory talks and inquisitions about what it would take to get the deal done. So what have you made of these two bits of, so let's say, transfer news, transfer items? So I'll give you my personal opinions in a bit. Now, Morgan Rogers, for me, he is a decent player. I'll always say this: he is a decent player, and I think he can add some quality to Chelsea. If he joins Chelsea, I see him playing as a left winger, so possibly he becomes, that Bino Gittins sort of competition, so he could start games and comes off. We have Bino Gittins coming off the bench, and vice versa, things like that. So I see he can contribute in that way. But is it a deal that really, really excites me? Not really. Do I rate him really that highly? Not really. I know a lot of people rate him really highly, and some of them, they rate him just because Man City Academy, Cole Palmer was from Man City Academy. So anyone linked that's played with Man City in the Man City Academy LI development squad, so that player must be special. We must have them in the team. Come on now. At Chelsea Academy, you have exciting players as well that you can use. But then again, look at it. Morgan Rogers, you can say Premier League experience, yes, but does it really move the needle? For me, I would rather go for a Karim Adeyemi. 100%. I might say your Nigerian way sneaking in, maybe, but I think Karim Adeyemi adds a different dynamic to how Chelsea can play. I think Bino Gittins, good, he's on there. Maybe Tariq George becomes the winger to support him. If you can't get what's his face now, if you can't get a Rodrigo, who I think right now his weight demands would be astronomical, absolutely crazy or bonkers at this minute. So I don't think Rodrigo is someone that Chelsea would want to go for at this time. And speaking about Morgan Rogers, while I think he can add some quality and be competition for Jamie Bino Gittins, I just don't think he is a signing right now that really moves the needle for Chelsea, in my humble opinion. But just like every Chelsea fan I am, if he comes to Chelsea, 1000% I give him my support, because it's all about the badge in front of the shirt, not the name at the back of the shirt. So he joins Chelsea, I'll give my 110% support to him, just like every other Chelsea player. But I'm not quite sure if he is what Chelsea needs at this time. And then we go on to the next sort of player linked, as Eberechi Eze. For me, Eberechi is a fantastic player, fantastically talented player, gifted, and can absolutely change Chelsea. Super dynamic. I think he can add enormous quality to Chelsea, and I would love him at Chelsea. But there's just one thing about his move to Chelsea that causes me to pause and think for a bit, and it has nothing to do with Eberechi Eze himself. It has everything to do with Enzo Maresca, because for some reason Enzo Maresca loves Cole Palmer. Yeah, and you say, is that a bad thing? No. Everyone loves Cole Palmer. Everyone says Cole Palmer has super quality. Everyone, if you except you're a newborn, you're just giving birth to yesterday, you would know Cole Palmer scored those two delightful goals in the Club World Cup tournament to help, and then came up with the assist as well to help give Chelsea, that 3-0 victory, 3-0 smashing over PSG, who were supposedly meant to be the best club, in the world, or at least the best club in Europe. So fantastic player, and the amount of goals he scored in the Premier League for Chelsea, the assists he created, the assists, in the Conference League final as well, and we can go on and on and on. So there's nothing wrong about Enzo Maresca loving Cole Palmer, wanting to always use him, wanting to always pick him, having him in the team. But for me, the problem is this: Enzo Maresca will never, or has decided that Cole Palmer will never be rested. He will never be dropped. He will always play the full 90 minutes, even if he's hopping on one leg. He's going to play the full 90 minutes. And Cole Palmer's best position is that 10 role behind the striker, or an attacking duo, attacking trio. Either way you look at it, his best role is that number 10 role. And Eberechi, where is his best role? Number 10, the number 10 role as well. So if Enzo Maresca is unwilling for whatever reason to, bench Cole Palmer, or even to rest him, say with 60 odd minutes gone, and then someone comes off the bench to play for 30 minutes, if he's unwilling to do that, then I don't quite see the need to sign Eberechi, because there's no point stockpiling talent whilst you're not playing them. There's no point having talents, you're paying them, you have them on your balance sheet, you have them on your books, you pay them every week or every month, or however the wages come in, and they don't get to play. So what is the point of signing them? There's no need to stockpile talent, in my opinion. So while he is a phenomenal talented player, and I think he has amazing qualities at Chelsea, can't do it if Enzo, and definitely if he comes, I'm going to support him with 2000%. I don't do this thing of using players' pictures as my avatar on my social media platforms, of course, and I won't do it for Eberechi either, but I will support him with 1050%. But if he's not going to play, I don't want to see him playing that wide. He's just not a winger. He's just not a winger at all. He's a 10. He's a prototypical number 10 attacking midfielder behind a striker. And if you're not going to play with 2 10s, if you're not going to play with 2 8.5s, if you are not going to, not bench Cole Palmer, like drop Cole Palmer sometimes, give him some, time to rest, then there's no point signing Eberechi, in my opinion. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I end the show, it's Nicholas Jackson. Now, Nicholas Jackson, they've been talking about Chelsea would consider bids for him. There's a cheeky thing they put out there to say Chelsea value him at £100 million or euros, whichever one. I think that's just, let's just put something out there. So, but the problem is, you see João Pedro coming instantly. He's hit the ground and he's already building that partnership, unique partnership with Cole Palmer. And João Pedro is kind of similar in style, but João Pedro is kind of similar in style to Nicholas Jackson, but he's actually better, more refined than Nicholas Jackson. So that means Nicholas Jackson has to sit on the bench for a bit, and then you've got Liam Delap, who is a different sort of striker that usually can come on in the second half to make a difference, especially if Chelsea are a goal or two up. So that then means it becomes a lot more challenging to see how Nicholas Jackson gets to play, at least in that striking position. And I've always said this: Nicholas Jackson, you give him that number, you give him that role as a left winger. Nicholas Jackson running full tilt at a fullback for most of a particular game. You take off the burden of you must be the guy to score the goals. Nicholas Jackson will come alive. People don't get it. As a striker, you must score goals. If you go out a whole game without scoring goals, you always get the blame. If your team doesn't win, you get double the blame. If your team wins by 6 goals and you don't score a goal, you get the blame. So that kind of pressure is always on you. As a winger, you glide past 2-3 players, you pass the ball to Cole Palmer passes the ball on to someone else, and the person scores. What you get is you created a chance, but you don't get such kind of, let's say, reprieve or excuse, or you don't get the sort of things when you're playing as a striker. As a striker, you're always expected to score. So I think that left wing can be a position for him to play. Some people say they don't see him being a left winger. I see him being a left winger. People seem to forget that Nicholas Jackson was signed as a second striker. He wasn't actually an out and out striker, and we've seen it for 2 years running right now, that striking position is just not his bag. Is not his shtick. Scoring goals at a high clip is not his shtick. Can you imagine playing as a winger? He scores 10 goals and comes up maybe 7-8 assists a season. That would be phenomenal goal contributions for Chelsea. As a striker, not so much. So, tell opinions about Nicholas Jackson. You want him sold? Do you think maybe as a left winger he could succeed, or you have a different solution? There's no in the comments and chats. So do like this video if you haven't liked it already. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on your next video. Stay well, stay blessed.